Could be.
What's up, Leo?
What's up, man?
You know, we just did a show.
I think it was a pretty good one. I hope you guys agree. If not,
too.
you should check it out.
I was getting heated.
Yeah, you were, and I was enjoying every second of it.
Well, thank you. But now I'm tired.
Yeah, I can tell.
Coming down off that heat.
That heat.
I was tired when we started.
Down.
I was tired when we started, man.
Well, it's hard not to get excited about all the cool stuff we talked about.
Yeah, we talked about a lot of cool stuff. We talked about video games.
Yeah, we did. Briefly. Mostly fashion and life advice.
We talked about fashion. We talked about relationships.
Yeah, we really did.
We talked about life advice.
I'd say we covered the entire human experience.
The whole spectrum. The whole spectrum, top to bottom.
But what we do want to talk about is From Software. Because they got a game coming out next week, right?
22nd. So
22nd, so a week after.
7 days from tomorrow.
Okay, so soon. And that game is Sekiro.
Shadows Die Twice.
Which is a great name.
Yeah.
It's very mysterious, which is kind of what they're known for.
It looks cool.
It does look cool.
I've seen some gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
Got like an arm thing that it's kind of very Devil May Cry. Like,
it is kind of. I wonder how much of that, how much style they will have going on.
And it looks very fast. I heard there's no stamina gauge in it.
Interesting.
So you can just like zip around and roll all over the place, you know.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, like, you know, how Dark Souls is very much about like stamina rolling.
Yeah, it was all about like conserving your resources in terms of your strength and your stamina.
But yeah, I wanted to talk about From. I mean, not necessarily Sekiro because we really don't know a ton about it personally.
Cool.
We just know it looks dope. But what's your experience with From Software games?
So here's mine. I really have only played Bloodborne extensively. I absolutely love it. I think it's one of the most beautiful games I've ever played. It's insanely hard, of course, but just that sense of deep dread and foreboding, and I think this is true for Dark Souls as well. The way the environment tells all the story is so cool. It's really so unique. And as soon as you turn on, you're like, oh, this is From Software.
So I go way back.
Yeah.
From Software.
How far back? Like to Mech Wolf or whatever?
No, but like I randomly found Demon Souls.
Yeah.
Like in a GameStop or something. You know what I mean? It was one of those games where it was like,
yeah, why not?
When I was young and would just like
I got $25.
Peruse the the section and just be like, oh, this looks cool.
Back before Steam sales.
Yeah, I don't know anything about this, right?
Yeah.
And so I got Demon Souls and just loved it from day one. Like and it's funny because they're kind of horror games, but I've kind of like Resident Evil. I never thought of them as horror games, so I played them anyway. But love Demon Souls. Struggled so much with Demon Souls.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Had a really hard time, especially because like at that point, like I didn't really like know anybody playing the game.
Yeah,
it was kind of
they weren't a household name yet.
It was very early in like internet times, you know. Like I was on some boards and stuff, but we didn't really talk about Demon Souls on said board.
There was no Demon Souls Reddit subreddit.
No, there's no subreddit for Demon Souls. I had a good Friendster group for Demon Souls, but you know they weren't very pro. But I played a lot of it.
Yeah,
a lot.
That's cool.
Then Dark Souls came out, and so that was like 360. So I got Dark Souls on my 360, which made it a lot more relevant at the time, right? Because 360 was so popular.
Yeah.
And so then I had a group that was like into Dark Souls, right?
Yeah.
And we would get on 360 voice chat.
Yeah.
We'd all just sit in voice chat and play Dark Souls, right? And so we'd all just kind of talk about like, where are you?
Yeah.
You know, there's a chest here. Here's what I did. This is how you deal with this boss. And just played the shit out of the original Dark Souls, right? Like that game I played so much of.
That's cool. It's one of those games that as soon as you turn it on, you're like, oh, it's like being back home.
Yeah, I feel like I could just like run through a lot of the first Dark Souls right now.
Did you play the Switch version?
No.
Interesting.
But because I heard it had some issues.
Yeah, I was just curious.
I just feel like I could run through the Undead Burg like so fast without much concern. Because I've played it so many times.
That's cool.
And you get down, you know, like even if you, when you play Bloodborne, right, you get to a level of comfort with it where it's like, okay, like I don't need to waste my time with trash enemies.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of speedrunning where at first everything's scary and then you start to just be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like, oh, it's fine. Like this guy
isn't that scary at all.
He attacks slow. He's not going to chase me that far. Yeah. So it's just like, it's fine. Dark Souls 2, I played. 2 and 3, I honestly did not like take to that much. I played them, but but they weren't like 2. I played more than 3.
Interesting.
But because I thought 3 wasn't great, but they weren't like the original Dark Souls was for me. Like I just didn't. I think it was just the timing. You know what I mean? It was like the time when I played Dark Souls, it was very much. Actually, the only reason I stopped playing Dark Souls is because my Xbox got hacked.
That sucks.
And I lost all. Well, what happened is they lock you out of your Xbox gets hacked. They lock you out of your account, so you can't get to any of your stuff.
Yeah,
and it took them like 8 months to like reinstate my. It took them so long. Actually, Microsoft still owes me money.
You hear that, Bill Gates? If you're watching,
still owe me money. I've seen it. It's on the thing. There's like things where you can see like who owes you money online, and it always says Microsoft $60 or something. And
you better pay up, guys.
Yeah,
come on. It's been years.
It's been years. But I mean that's kind of what stopped me from playing it because I was like, I can't access any of my stuff. I don't really care.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel the same way.
But then I played Bloodborne and honestly did not embrace Bloodborne like I did the Dark Souls games.
Yeah, that's why I always wonder because since I started with Bloodborne, I wonder if that made me more likely to like it. Now I wonder if I try Dark Souls, if I'd be like, Bloodborne's just better, or maybe not. I don't know. I
think it would be interesting because they're very different.
I also really have to say that I just love the whole style of Bloodborne. I know there's a lot of crossover there in terms of like enigmatic horror, but Bloodborne, like just the way everything looks, is so fucking cool.
I played the first couple levels of Bloodborne,
so cool,
and I didn't really love the first level art style, but I will say like playing or watching someone play through the DLC.
Yeah.
I was like, this is incredible. Like, this looks incredible.
I think it's one thing that sucks about it, 30 frames.
Yeah,
and it's brutal, especially, not to be like elitist, but play a lot on PC, and I love my PS4, don't get me wrong, but man, that game runs like ass. It looks so cool, but it's just, God, I wish it was on PC.
Yeah, 30 frames is so bad.
Imagine how awesome that game would be on PC. In 4K, 60, 120, like, oh,
yeah, it's so hard. Like Devil May Cry. 2K Ultra, 144 hertz. Woo. It is like
it's a smoke show.
That game is smoking on PC. It is so dope looking. Yeah, it animates so.
That's
smooth.
that Resident Evil engine, isn't it?
Yeah, Resident Evil.
That engine is killing. I love
Resident
that
Evil
engine.
Same way. 2K Ultra, it's just flying, and it looks amazing. Like the movement looks so good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you jump back, and it's so funny. Like when people that say you can't tell the difference have never played.
It's one of those things where you can't tell until you do it, and then you can't go back.
Unsee it.
That's
you can't unsee it. It's crazy. But I wonder. Like I feel like because I'll say this in Dark Souls, some of the zones are incredible. Mm-hmm. Like they're just amazing. Like to look at, right? Like there's this website on Easy Allies. They were doing it. It's like outside the map or something where it's these Boundary Break. Yeah, I love that. And they have it for Dark Souls.
Nice.
And
that's a great show.
And like you can see like on some of the maps, like they literally like, God, what is the map called? I can't remember what it is. It's where there's, I mean, you don't know, you haven't played the game, but there's these archers. Not be helpful. It's like you're on like the roofs of a castle, right? And it's like these big long like the geometry of the castle. You're kind of climbing up diagonally. And there's archers at the top and. Jumping in through the windows and covering parts and then coming out through another window.
And is it the first Dark Souls?
Yeah, and it's beautiful. But you look at the boundary break of it, and they literally modeled like the entire city. Yeah. Right? Just so that it would look like authentic. Like when instead of like a facade of it, it's literally like 3D models of buildings, like as far as the eye can see.
That's so cool.
And it's just incredible. It's just like it's incredible they would do that. Now, if that's why it's 30 frames, that's pretty sad. But regardless, it's some of the things they did to make that game kind of
it's like we were talking about in the episode. It's that labor of love. You really can tell when a game when a creator is just like, no, this is what I want and it's gonna be this.
Yeah, just the things they do to make those games feel epic and vast and to make you feel accomplished for doing things in them.
Yep, and that tone that they nail, like that no one else can do. I hope that's in Sekiro. It kind of looks like it will be, but that weird tone that you can't put your finger on is so cool.
And it's like horrific non-horror.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's not jump scares.
So it's in there where you can't quite put your finger on why it's horrifying.
Yeah, like
it is.
Sometimes you get jump scared because something comes out of the dark and you know what I mean, tries to attack you, but no more than if you turn a corner and there's a guy there in GoldenEye, right? Yeah. Like it's no more of a jump scare than that. but it's like there's just something so horrific about the nature of the game, about touching these creatures in the game, and kind of interacting with these kind of gruesome beasts.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's how Bloodborne is for sure.
Yeah, it's great.
I think Bloodborne's maybe a little more straight horror, but even that is still like it's way more subtle than.
Yeah, the thing about Bloodborne is like once I saw there wasn't a lot of like the crafting and like tons of weapons, like weapon variety.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of what I really like about Dark Souls is like finding a new weapon and then like learning the.
It's like replaying the entire game.
It kind of, right? Because it's a whole new combo system and motion system and speed and the way you parry and block.
Yeah, Bloodborne, there's only like I think 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I mean, there's different variations, but
it's generally the cane or the whatever the other one
that
is.
crazy ass sword that goes. Cool.
Yeah. It's cool, but I was really into like the collectathon weapon thing in Dark Souls always really spoke to me. It's what I love about Symphony of the Night so much too. It's like
that's totally
farming for that rare drop and getting that dope sword that you've been looking for.
Feeling, and then just smoking everything that was trying to stand up to you.
Or like knowing the game to the point where it's like, I need to get to this point because at this point I can rush over to the area where I can get that drop
and get
that drop, and then then it's like game over for these assholes, right? Like,
and then I'll start a new game and do it again.
Yeah, I'll start a new game and do it again. Yeah, it's so great. It feels so good.
Well, we're hoping that Sekiro captures some of that magic. I can't wait to find out.
It has to. From doesn't miss.
Yeah, that's what I've thought. They wouldn't mess around.
They're so good. They're so good. I
totally agree.
They don't fuck around.
Even though I haven't played Dark Souls as much as I like, I can tell like they're very special.
Bloodborne 2's coming.
I really hope so.
It has to be.
Oh my god, please. That's 60.
It might be a PS5
for
launch
God's
game,
sakes.
to be
That's
honest with
fine.
you.
I don't care. As long as it's 60. Please.
Do you guys like From Software?
Let us know. Yeah, I bet the answer is yes.
Maybe.
Who's going to be like, nah. You could say I don't like the games. Totally valid. But it'd be hard to say that they're not a good developer.
If you don't like From Software, you turn the show off because it's over. Contact us, techyeahpodcast@gmail.com.
Let us know what your thoughts on From Software are.
Tech Yeah Podcast on Facebook. Tech Yeah Podcast on Twitter. Let us know what your thoughts are. Let us know what you think about From. Let us know what you think about us. Let us know what you think about
anything, really.
Yeah, pretty much whatever. We love you guys.
Thanks for watching.
Appreciate your time. If you like this, click on Leo's face here right now because you're going to get a preview, or you're going to get the full podcast. Click on my face to subscribe too. All right. Thank you guys. We love you. Goodbye.
Okay. See you next week.